Hello, welcome back, everyone. We've got a guest from over the pond this time. This is Jaimie Beebe. She's a casting director with her own company, Jaimie Casting. Welcome, Jaimie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Okay, no problem at all. I probably want to get straight down to it and say, where did you start off and what did you do to get into the industry?
Okay. Well, I kind of fell into it. I had a friend that wanted to be a director and have his own company, production company. So I actually hadn't even ever been on a set, but he was like, "Hey, you can run my company. You're really smart. You'll figure it out." But I did. I Googled a lot of things. I learned it really quick. Learned kind of every aspect of production, and I worked with that company for a couple of years, and I think we did pretty good. And when I was ready to leave that company, I decided that that just wasn't the job for me because it was like 20-hour days. And, I was kind of the bad guy a lot. I was always telling people no, and they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that. And it's not really my personality. So while I was running that company, I was doing a lot of, casting and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's my ticket. Like, that's where I need to be. So when I left that company, I actually started out in unscripted reality casting because it's much easier to jump into.
Yeah.
And, I needed a job. So I started doing that. And I learned a lot. I started beefing up my relationships with agents and managers in the meantime. So I could jump into scripted later. And how I kind of did that, a lot of people work under somebody, they find another casting company. And I started going to the schools, universities around here and just standing outside and asking people if they needed a casting director, which surprisingly worked.
Yeah.
And they started hiring me. But the great thing about that is, then when they started graduating from school and, working more in the workforce, they kept hiring me. So I kind of grew with a lot of those kids and we learned it together. And, I solidified my relationships, and that's kind of, I stopped doing reality for the most part. I haven't really done that much. So in a couple of years, in quite a few years now, mostly just TV, film, new media, really anything like that. Anything scripted. So that's where I'm at.
And I'm always curious to hear if there was any sort of signposts that really sort of stood out, especially in the early years, any sort of flags where you're like, this is my calling, this is what I'm going to do. Is there any of those that stand out?
It just goes really well with my personality. I want to make people happy. I want to be like the person that's like, hey, you got the job. Like, and that's kind of what I do all day. I get to deliver good news to a lot of people. So, I just kind of like that whole aspect of it. Like I'm happy. I like other people to be happy. I like to be the good news person. I like to be the person everyone likes. So it kind of felt like that was perfect for me.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And I guess going from those sort of production shoots and the production side to the casting director side, what was it like? Did you just rely on perseverance or luck or connections or a little bit of everything to land that sort of ideal role that you wanted?
Do you mean like for the actors? What do I look for?
Yeah.
I look for personality, I think, more than anything. It's a lot more than just being able to act. I want to put someone on set that's going to get along with everybody, that's going to roll with the punches, go with the flow. Somebody that understands what acting is more than just working it. You have to understand like who are you playing? Like, who is this person? Like, get involved with the role. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do with the talent of being able to act, looks, but I think personality is a big one, and a lot of people with the right confidence and the right kind of personality, it goes a long way. And especially, when you're on set, you might be on set with these people for, 3 weeks every day, it's a lot of time. So everyone has to be able to get along well for a production to really take off. And I think I learned a lot of that part of putting, a cast together. I learned a lot of that being in production because I would be on set and I would see how hard it was if somebody couldn't get along with everybody else or somebody was acting weird, So that's kind of, I look for a lot of things like that.
Oh, that's so cool. And I guess is there any sort of advice that you give to sort of new entrants or people who like want to get into the industry?
Oh gosh, there's so much advice. I think be yourself, be confident, and it's not easy. It's acting is very, very, very hard. It's not, people that finally land a decent sized role, they have worked for years and years and years and years on other roles that you've never heard of, that you've never seen. It's been a really long road. It's super, super, super hard.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. It's super, super hard to get, to get to where you can be, where you can even make money as a working actor. So just, perseverance. If it's what you want and you don't give up, like I think eventually you'll get there.
Yeah, and the sort of production crew side, you've spent some years getting good ground in that sort of work. Is there a similar sort of thing with getting into that side as well?
In the production side,
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of who you know, and again, personality, because it's all, you're working one-on-one with people. There's 20 people on this set. You have to be able to get along with people and read people and understand people. You're spending like what feels like a lifetime with these people in 3 weeks. It's kind of like a relationship, a 3-week relationship, a 4-week relationship, and then afterwards you break up, and like you might see each other later, you might not, but like you had this crazy, amazing time together. So, I think it really comes down to relationships. It does come down to who you know in town. Hollywood's very, very small. The entertainment industry is very small. So you don't want to burn bridges. You just want to kind of be cool and confident.
Yeah, and I guess it's not simply about a qualification, but those soft skills as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have to have an open mind and be able to, problem solve. Problem solve is huge on set. Everything there's 29 problems a minute that you have to fix. So if you can't just rattle it off and problem solve, you're not gonna be able to keep up. Everything moves very fast.
Yeah, cool. And I guess over your career, that's in the production and the casting world, there must have been some like real big standout moments, like moments of huge euphoria or elation. Is there any particular ones that stand out for you?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, there's a few times when I've had the opportunity to really, to find an actor that doesn't have the experience as somebody else, but I just feel that they can do it. I feel they're the right person. I've had the opportunity to be able to push them, and talk to the directors and the producers and be like, hey, like, I really think this person can do it. And, they went with my choice, and, the person did an outstanding job. Like stuff like that is awesome. Like that's what I'm doing it for. Like I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see it all happen. And I have a couple really cool projects coming out that I'm really excited for. I have one called Paradise City that I worked on as a casting director, and it premieres on Amazon Prime in March 2021. It's a series. The cast is phenomenal. The cast is just phenomenal. The director had the most amazing vision, and he put it together. The way he did it was phenomenal. Like I can't say enough good things about that whole cast and crew. So I'm excited to see that on the screen.
Amazing. So I guess when you're casting for the entire shoot, right? You're casting all the actors and actresses.
Yeah, I mean, when I came on board, a lot of times for funding and to get things going, the directors or the director and producers will already have a partial cast signed on, like the couple of the leads. Sometimes that can happen. I come in and I fill everything else in, or sometimes I come in the ground level and I'm on the get-go. So it kind of just depends. It's different in every shoot.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What does kind of success mean for you in terms of your career? What, gives you that drive every day to get out of bed and go do your work?
Happiness. If I'm excited to read a new script and excited to call people, my phone rings. I'm like, ooh, who could it be? That kind of stuff. That's all that matters as far as, success to me. I take a lot of lower paying gigs, if I like the project and it's a low funded project, like, cool, like, let me work on it, like, I want to see everybody succeed. And and you never know what can come out of working on. I still work on student films. If they reach out to me and it's a student and they need a little help, let me see what I can do. I've got some great relationships. I know some awesome actors that might not otherwise be able to do something like this. So yeah, I'm always all about just keeping it going.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because to kind of set expectations for people who are leaving their college or university, and should I do some unpaid work or some voluntary work? Perhaps is that like go out and sort of soak it up almost, right?
I think if it makes you happy to do that, yes. I do think that one of the most important things is to get a good team behind you. You need an agent and a manager. You definitely need a manager first, I would say, because they'll help you get the agent, and managers more day to day. They'll help you with your headshots and your reel, and getting you out there into auditions that are paying, bigger auditions. They'll help you get in, to SAG-AFTRA. They're there for you like every step of the way. So I think that one of the more important things to do is to get somebody that will stand behind you and, push you along and help you along the way and give you good advice.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. And I always like to ask people as a bit of a retrospective is, if you could meet your 18-year-old self now, what would you say to yourself, Jaimie?
Oh, geez. That was a long time ago. I would say stay single and work more, but no, I think that gosh, advice. Just honestly, I've had a great life. Travel more, do what you want, do what makes you happy. Just be you, be confident, don't care what other people think. That's kind of the advice I'd give myself.
No, that's good advice as well. I like it. And I guess you've got your own casting company, like JaimieCasting.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
And where can people go to find a bit more information on you? I know you've got your Instagram handle, yeah?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram a lot. Especially during the COVID and the lockdown, we did shut down for quite a while, and I kind of used that time to go on Instagram and watch people. So many actors were putting out crazy, amazing content. Just doing monologues in their bedroom, because we were a little bored,
Yeah.
So doing monologues in their bedroom. Posting auditions that they otherwise wouldn't. And I would sit for a long time because I was also a little bored. I would watch these actors that I wouldn't have otherwise had time to look at, or maybe I wouldn't even found. I was searching hashtags like monologue Monday, self-tapes. And so I think that was really kind of something cool. So I think Instagram is really a neat place where you can go and see things that you otherwise couldn't.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, about the pandemic, and what is something that's going to create something new off the pandemic? Is there anything that's going to fundamentally change in your world, do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean it already has, and there's so many unfortunate parts of the pandemic. Obviously, people are out of work, losing their jobs, losing their homes, losing their lives. It's very sad. I do like to look on the good side of things. I think that's really important to, realize that terrible things are happening, but also there are a lot of great things coming out of this from the people that, maybe they are staying at home and they're creating. I mean, people are creating crazy films on their phones, and, they're working, and just the creative process that a lot of people do have during this time. I think we're going to see some amazing things come out of it.
Yeah, because in some ways, like, the pandemic, it was a standing start for everybody. And maybe some of the people who are leaving college campus this time, it may seem like a vulnerable time, but at the same time, it's quite dynamic in terms of it's greenfield. Everyone else is in the same boat. It can be quite an exciting time as well as feeling quite vulnerable, right?
Oh, for sure. And, a lot of people took that time to Rest, get healthy, relax. And I think when you can do that too, your creative juices kind of start flowing. You know, you get new ideas. When a big change happens, is the best time that you can kind of grab onto ideas that you wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity for.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I'd just like to say a big thank you, Jaimie. You've been
Thank
a
you.
great guest, and all the best for in the future.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me on.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cool.